Previously on Project Granny Pants, we upgraded the fuel injectors, fitted an intercooler, and began work on turbo piping on the intake and exhaust. Now, we're up to the second day of our 7-day Turbo Camry challenge, where we show you how we went from this humble, sensible vehicle to this. First up, it was time to remove the standard Camry fuel pump, so we could upgrade it to something that could support 3 to 4 times the original power. This task was given to Matt and his special pink blankie. Well, this wiring won't do. We'll have to upgrade that. There's no way we're going to get enough current through this little stuff. And I dare say even that electrical plug there, we've seen them melt. So maybe we'll consider putting some big electrical bulkhead fittings through this hanger so we can get some real power in there. We need to dispose of that fuel into someone's car as well. Not mine. Not yours. What about Jethro? Can you take 91 piss water?
No.
And do this as diesel. Brett, you want some 91 octane fuel? Nope. Hey. This one. This little 1-for-1 here. It's -6 normal JIC fitting that side, but inside it's got a reverse tapered flare fitting which will seal up to that original pipe fitting, at least in theory anyway. We'll go and stick it on and see if it works. Alright, so that's what we're looking to adapt to the aluminium pipe so you can run a big feed hose all the way down the car. So, tapers look correct. So that wine's on there. We'll need some spanners to lock it up, but as you can see it converts it from this thread which we can't deal with to that one which we can. See, this nut goes on there. Olive goes on there, and they pinch down to create a seal, which I won't do fully at the moment. That pinches on there, and then we have the same fitting this side as we do that side for the hard pipe, and we'll just make a little rubber flexible line here to take up any movement and make for easy disconnects. And that's it. That's a feed line sorted to this end of the tank. For this project, we decided to use a Walbro 470 litre per hour fuel pump. This unit is very similar to the 460 litre per hour E85 fuel pump, which is many people's favourite, but it's able to maintain its flow at higher pressures much better. Thanks to this improvement, it should be good for over 600 wheel horsepower, which is most importantly a good amount more than the Camry is likely to make.
I think that might actually work pretty well. Nice. Cool. These are the little bits we need for the main power post for the fuel pump. The black plastic bits will isolate it, so you might be thinking, oh, you're just going to put metal through and put a bolt and short out the pump. So this is the center of it, and it isolates through the plastic. Nice snug fit, perfect, just what we wanted. Put the other side on. Cool, so that probably couldn't have gone any better. Awesome, done. So I'm just terminating the eyelets on the wiring harness for the fuel pump, and we're going to put put the bolt through the ground and drill the hole out to 6mm. Ground will go on there, and then the positive will go on here. I've put a small mark on the hose where I want to cut it. I've got my trusty hose cutters. Put the point, make the noise, and chop.
While that was going on, I was busy continuing to grind and weld to get the turbo mounted.
Last time I made this it didn't fit, so I've put this little extension in there to pull that pipe away from the flange. Hopefully now it clears the manifold. Well, this is the next bit of the turbo crossover pipe. These ones are going to go from what we've already made down to the turbo. So we'll get the turbo V-band and we'll see if it's all going to fit. All sorts of guessing going on here, but we'll tack it all together and see if the turbo actually fits and clears all the bits when we bolt it up. This can be the best and the worst part of the whole thing. That's trying to bolt the turbo up for the first time and seeing if you got it in the right spot or not. Appears to be a turbo in the right spot. It's not hitting anything. Turbine housing is just very close to resting on that fan support, but we can give that a little bit of a grind to give it some breathing space. It's not really going to hurt anything anyway, it's just a bracket.
Next up, it was time to decide where to put the wastegate. With limited space available and the desire to keep the mods as hidden as possible, a lot of standing around staring at the engine was prescribed. Eventually, it all got too hard and it was decided that we would just pretend this bit didn't exist and make it tomorrow Tristan's problem.
Delicious.
Not much is happening really. We're just taking off the gasic while I'm waiting for all this to drain out. But, got to get the sump off to put the train plug in. And now I get the dirty part of it. Loves it. Oh, I love everything.
And loose.
Those bits off.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dads.
Yeah, thanks, Trish. Thanks, mate. It's alright, I'll sort this.
Turbo cord.
Brand new stuff.
What have we got?
Pop a spot.
That's a quad full of fuel.
We'll just pump that jacket.
So we've hit this point, Matt. I think we've mocked up a lot of things, and we need to get the engine out of the bay so we can address some of the other problems, not to mention take the gearbox off and change the clutch and install the diff. What do you reckon? We pull this thing out of the bay?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's go. Me and Tristan were just discussing it, and yeah, we could just undo all the mounts on the bottom and drop it out, but then we have to deal with the suspension, the steering shaft and such. So just a couple of engine mounts need to be disconnected from the bottom, and then we can literally lift it out from the top. There's heaps of room. Usually front wheel drive cars, you might have to drop the gearbox off and then lift the motor out, but yeah, should be out of the top and done.
As day 2 turned to night, it was all hands on deck to pull the engine and gearbox out, so it would be ready for the installation of a clutch, a diff, head gaskets, and some other cool parts in the coming days. Alright, end of day 2. We've made it this far. Engine's out of the car now, so we can do lots of funky stuff to that, and Cohen's coming in tomorrow to pull the gearbox apart, install our diff and a twin plate clutch. I got the turbo mounted, which is great. I've been looking forward to that for so long. What about you, Matt? How'd you go?
I got the fuel pump all done, so that's all buttoned up and in the fuel tank. Fuel tank's back in, and still got the lines to do, but we'll do that tomorrow.
Ready for ethanol?
That's it.
Mint.
Big power.
Okay, tomorrow. We'll see you then.